So I've been getting some questions about the move, both on the move announcement video and personally. I wrote down 10 of those questions and I'm going to answer them today. I would like to do a Q&A video again later, so I'm going to create a community post and somehow attach it to this video and probably some future videos. And in that community post, I'll be asking you what you would like to know about the move, if there's any details of how I'm doing things or whatever like that. That will be down below somewhere. And I want to let you know I am sitting in front of Fort Box, so you might hear chickens, and I'm leaving their fan on today because, yeah, so they get to keep their fan because the heat index is 120. So let's get to these questions and see what y'all want to know. The question that I'm going to answer first is about irrigation. And the reason that I'm answering this first is because when you move on to blank land or when you move anywhere and you're considering putting in gardens or using permaculture, irrigation is really the first thing that you need to look at. Where I will be, there's a lake or a pond, depending on your definition of lakes and ponds. It's smallish and it's spring fed. We need to test the water before I know a whole bunch of details about that. But the plan is to pump water up into IBC tanks, which are those big white cubes with the steel metal, some sort of metal cages around them. I'm sure that there will need to be some sort of filtration, but that's like after we get the water tested and then we'll know what we need. The idea is that from those IBCs, I will be able to gravity feed water to my RV and to the gardens and the food forest and all that good stuff. In the future, I will also be collecting rainwater when I have a structure that I can collect rainwater from, and that will feed into the same system. The kitchen garden and the herb garden will most likely not have swales. The rest of everything might have swales depending on what's out there. A swale is when you dig, so if you have a little bit of an incline, you dig down and then you make a berm on the other side so it goes like that. So the water collects here in stores and then you plant here, and it keeps the water from rushing down so you can soak the water into the ground and keep the water that falls on your land in your land. That takes time and work, and there's a whole lot that goes into it. So that won't be an immediate thing, not the kind of thing I'm going to want to do in the freezing weather, but it will most likely happen before I put in the larger gardens if it's going to be needed. The next question I'm going to answer is regarding the chickens and their security. The assumption that I'm working on is that there will be more predators in a forest setting than there are in a neighborhood setting. Right now, the predators that we know are here. There's a family of hawks. There's been coyotes sighted in the neighborhood and in surrounding areas. There's a raccoon. There's got to be a family of raccoons because the little compost bucket panda that was digging through my compost bucket the other night looked to be a juvenile. He was little. He stood on his little legs and stood up and looked at me. It was, oh, so cute. So hawks, sorry, sidetracked. Hawks, coyotes, and raccoons. There's possums here. There are snakes here, but they're more likely the snakes that would get eaten by the chickens than would eat the chickens. So out there, I'm guessing I will have, similar coyotes, hawks. I don't know, there might be other kinds of flying predators, most likely going to be raccoons and those sorts of things as well. So if we can move I hear you. I'm talking about you. If we can move Fort Box, that would be ideal. If not, then I'll have to put up another coop and run when we get there. It's going to come down to whichever is cheapest and easiest as far as whether I move this or build new. There will likely be an electric fence situation going on. I'm not sure which electric fence I need yet. If you know what is a good electric fence for a right next to a forest setting with chickens, I will plan on having roos, and I'm not going to stop anyone from going broody. If they hatch out their own, so be it. So there might be some chicks in this situation as well. So if you know of a good net that I need, please let me know. I would very much appreciate that. For their shade, I'll do similar to what I have here, where like I put vining crops on them and they have the fan and the deep shade going on. And I will probably also plant a bit of a orchard or a food forest for them. I can do like dwarf fruit trees, shrubs, things like that they can hide under from predators, or to get shade, to eat fruit or whatever they want to do, play hide and seek with the other chickens, all that sort of stuff. But that is the plan so far, is that they'll have either this or a similar setup, plus a fence, plus more forage for them. I was asked what I'm going to do about ticks and other flesh-eating bugs. I looked it up, and I've used this before when camping as just kind of a general bug thing. Lemon eucalyptus oil has been proven as effective as DEET for all that stuff. The natural recommendation is to use lemon eucalyptus oil, which is not lemon oil and eucalyptus oil, it's one lemon eucalyptus oil, and lemongrass oil combined and spray. I have done this and it works. I will also need to get myself a pair of muck boots, which I need to do anyways. My other boots started cracking and all of that kind of stuff this winter. So I need to invest in a better pair. And then, you know, pants tucked into the boots and all that good stuff when I'm walking in the woods. I'm hoping that in the area that I clear, in my sun trap where I'll be living and farming and all that stuff, that ticks won't be too big of a problem once I've cleared it. But you know, again, we'll see when we get out there, right? There's so much that I don't know till we're there, but I can plan ahead for what I think I'll be doing and then just make adjustments once I'm out there. And that's kind of like my blanket plan. Make plans, be willing to adjust. Why am I taking so many plants? I think this question was asked in regards to like physically moving that much soil and plant matter, because that is heavy and it's a lot of work. The reason is because I don't have the budget to rebuy once I'm out there, and I don't want to take the time to restart once I'm out there. So I will move pine berries, I will move strawberries, I will move perennial herbs, all that sort of stuff, because it saves me time, energy, and money once I'm there. So yes, it's going to be more time and energy to move it than it would be to not move it, but it's going to save me a lot, and I will have strawberries immediately in the spring and pine berries, and I will have herbs available immediately. And that's another layer of food security and things that I won't have to figure out once I'm there, because I have, as you're noticing, a lot to figure out once I'm there. The more food plants I can take with me and the more medicinal plants I can take, the more immediately I have those things accessible. Like if I move my thyme plants and I get a sinus infection, I can make myself thyme tea on the spot. I will probably also be drying a lot of stuff just so that if I do have a winter kill, I'll have that available as well. Related to the question about why I'm taking so many plants, I also got the question of, will I be foraging more plants for food? Well, the question was regarding food. I'm adding and medicinals. So yes, probably. It depends on what's out there. I do know, I have heard that there are blackberry bushes out there. So yes, absolutely, I will be foraging those. I don't know what else is out there. I am guessing that there's probably a lot of kind of wild medicinals. There's probably some plantain or that sort of stuff out there. We'll see. I would love to. I would really, really like to. And I like the idea of having, you know, all these acres that I can go wander on and see what's out there and discover stuff. So will I be foraging more? Yes. What will I be doing about uploading off-grid? Okay, so I'm looking at different options for internet out there, and it looks like I'll be able to have decent internet. I'm not going to be completely rural. There's civilization around me. I was going to do not a hotspot, but it's from one of the mobile phone providers, and they have a hub thingy, modem hub, whatever, that is supposed to be really good. But I've heard that they're starting to restrict where you can use it, but that might be a rumor. So I'm going to check into that and see what I can do about that. I've been checking in my full-time RV groups to see kind of what people use and people who live off-grid. I will have power because I'm going to do solar power. Oh, you can't see them. There are solar panels up on top of the chicken coop here, and those are coming with me, along with their inverter and batteries and all that good stuff. If I end up with spotty internet or bad internet or whatever, I'll find a coffee shop. I'm not too far from a small city. There's got to be a Starbucks or something like that, right? That I can go and just sit down and upload at. Don't worry, it's going to get handled. I don't remember who it was. I was watching somebody's homesteading video and they were at somebody else's homestead and they were like, oh, you have a chair out in the middle of the field. Is that your thinking spot? The person answered, they were like, no, that's where the best internet is. So I don't know, it might be that type of a situation. I'm working on it. I'm working on getting it figured out. There are options. I'm trying to keep the cost down on it too, so that's a factor. You know how those things go. Will I be getting a day job? Apparently I'm not the only one who thinks it's hot. My camera also thinks it's very hot. It shut down and I had to go inside for a minute. Will I be getting a day job? So the things I'm about to say apply to the next two questions as well. The short answer is no. I have health issues, and I've talked to you about some of the physical things. I have really bad asthma, and I have bad allergies, and that's just a couple of the physical things. I have a pain disorder that is not diagnosed, but also some things happened in 2017, about midway through the year. I've had agoraphobia since then. One of these things required police involvement, if that tells you kind of the level of stuff we're talking about. And I just don't people much anymore. Going to the grocery store gives me anxiety. A small store like Sprouts, if you're familiar with Sprouts Market, is better. Can't do shopping malls. They're just too people-y. Like a public-facing day job is not really gonna happen. And then with the agoraphobia comes some other things from everything that happened. I don't keep schedules well anymore, and I have very, very limited spoons, and I know I've talked about that on the channel before. I have spoony content even. Working on a schedule, being expected to keep other people's deadlines, those are things that my brain does not do right now. So that is one reason that YouTube is going to be my full-time job. Full-time job being the most that I can give it. One thing that happens sometimes is like the foliar spray video, that took me 2.5 hours to shoot by the time I was like moving cameras and actually doing the foliar spray and telling y'all about it and everything like that. And then I had to spend a day editing it, and then I was out of spoons, and I spent a day resting and then another day resting because the first one wasn't enough. And I'm not talking like I didn't feel like it, I'm talking like I get completely wiped out. So I will be looking for some sort of remote work that I can do as I can do it, but YouTube will be my primary focus. If you would like to help out, I do have links to my Buy Me a Coffee below. Little things like propagating plants and selling starts, selling some of those blackberries that I find, as well as some of the ones that I'm bringing with me. I'll have some little side incomes like that. So like going to work at a feed store or anything like that is a no. And I would love to be able to do that kind of thing. I think working in a feed store would be really fun. I used to work in a bookstore. I would love to go back to working in a bookstore. I would love, 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 love to teach yoga in person again, but so I will see what I can do about that. There's hopes of a yoga channel. No promises there. I'm just gonna mention it because it might happen one day. I had to do a bit of a set change. It got hotter and the camera shut off 3 times now. We're doing this now. So we are inside the chicken coop. I'm just gonna call this your bird's eye view. The fan is probably louder, so I'll try to be a little bit louder. It's only 101 in here at this side, and up at the roof it is 103. So that's a lot better than outside. Did I just say it's only 101? I feel like I should slap myself for saying that. I know, I'm in your run and it's really confusing. I'm sorry, babies. All right, so someone asked me about my upload schedule and if I would be uploading more often, as well as if I need more ideas for content. So that goes back to, I have issues, y'all. I am a spoonie. I am currently uploading as often as I am able between my brain and my body. I want to increase it. I realize that I have not been uploading very much lately. I am trying really hard to get on a once-a-week schedule. It's not always working. And I also have to like do the work that y'all see, you know, like I've got to get things planted if you're gonna look at them. So it's not just the shooting and the editing that goes into my schedule. I have to plan these videos, I have to like do the work, I have to take care of these little feathered babies. Upload schedule, I'm trying. I'm sincerely trying my absolute best to do the most that I can with it, and I get really frustrated and upset with myself when I can't upload weekly. And as far as content, yeah, I'll have all new content, I'll have more content, but coming up with ideas for content is not the problem. My bedroom door is covered in post-it notes of ideas for content. It's my brain and body cooperating with getting them done. So I understand that y'all might like for me to be more consistent, and I'm trying, and it's frustrating me too. Yes, I will maybe be putting up videos more often, I'm hoping so. And yes, there will be new content because there's new content every day, something happens every day. Bottom line on that one is I'm doing my best. I really am. If you would like to make sure that you do see more content when I am able to upload, make sure that you hit subscribe. Please, 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 please. Hit subscribe, click like, share with your friends, comment down below. All of those things tell YouTube that you want to see more content like mine, and that really, really, really helps me out. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you. Someone asked why I'm not moving to Costa Rica yet. Not everything I mention is absolutely happening immediately, but also I cannot afford to move myself to Costa Rica right now. I would love to. I really, really want to be halfway up a mountain in Costa Rica where it's like 85 every day except during the cold season when it's 84. Yeah, that sounds beautiful. That sounds way better than 108. Yeah, like things I hope to do, that's not a promise that it's gonna happen. And yes, I would love to get to Costa Rica, but we will see. It was originally in my 10-year plan that I made 9 years ago, and I was supposed to be moving next year, but it can't happen right now. That's all. That's all on that one. All right, and then that brings me down to the final question. Is this my forever land? No, it's not. But I am hoping that this will be my last stepping stone to my forever land. I know the people who own the land. I am going to be setting up an area, a livable area on the edge of the forest that they have there. Hello, borps. So when I am finished there, they will have an RV pad, they will have a gray water system, they will have a kitchen garden, an herb garden with medicinals, they will have at least something of a food forest. It's not going to be like the whole, I'm not turning the whole woods into a food forest, but surrounding the living area, there will be something of a food forest. They'll have all of these additional systems in place when I leave that weren't there when I got there. So I'm adding value to the lot while I'm there. And my hope is that in 2 to 5 years, I will be able to buy a piece of land of my own and move on to that and start all over again. Y'all, I'm 50. And I'll be 51 in December, so like by the time I am moved into my RV and really, really set up, I'm gonna be 51. Starting over 2 to 5 years after that, that had better be my last move. And whether that is another property in Texas or an adjacent state or whether I make it to Costa Rica, I don't know yet. I'm not really sure what's going to happen 2 to 5 years down the line. I would like for it to be at least 40 acres when I do settle down someplace so that I have enough room for myself and also to help out other people who need to live cheaply and who need control over their food and their situations and things like that. This is not my forever land that I'm moving to, but hopefully it's my last step. Like I said, I will have a community post asking you to ask me more questions. it'll be down there somewhere. Oh, I want to thank somebody. A friend donated a nice chunk of money to my next green stalk. So thank you, friend. Like I said, I'm not outing anybody's names. Thank you very much. That was like a huge piece of getting me to my next green stalk. If like 3 more people go buy a green stalk using my link, I can get my next green stalk. So almost there. Very, very exciting. Okay, so one more very simple way that y'all can help me get my channel monetized. There's some features that I can turn on as soon as I get 3,000 view hours. If you would click on this video next and watch that one, this is the one YouTube thinks you need to see next, and I will catch you soon. Thank you so much for hanging out. Later, y'all.